Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins in a time of Earth-wide starvation with a space station approaching the planet Saturn. An astronaut named James is ordered to his departing shuttle, and we're meant to assume that it's this faceless man getting ready. The real James enters to begin putting on his spacesuit while addressing the one who's creeping around the locker room like a friend. Our masked man was meant to go on this mission but failed a psych exam that declared him mentally unstable. Which we immediately see why as he opens an airlock, causing James to get ejected into space and cut up into little pieces. The killer then impersonates the captain and takes his seat on the shuttle as he's launched towards the rings of Saturn. He flies the ship through the debris field before popping out the other side on his way to a small moon containing an experimental research station called Saturn III. It's home to two scientists who anxiously wait outside to greet their guest as they've been alone here for the past 3 years. Once landed, he refuses to let anyone touch his belongings and gets escorted into the facility through a decontamination chamber. The 64-year-old man in charge, Adam, proudly introduces his 33-year-old lover Alex as I guess he hasn't had it too rough here alone. They give a warm welcome to the murderer Benson, whose cold attitude doesn't reciprocate, and when he does speak he's dubbed Major. Seeing how well they're living, he tells them they're behind schedule with developing a new food source that a starving Earth so desperately needs. That's what James was meant to help the pair with, but Benson has his own hidden agenda and gets escorted to his new quarters by Alex. He tells her that he'll take a blue dreamer to get to sleep, but Alex doesn't know what that is since she was born in space and has never visited Earth. Benson gives her a pill and suggests that she tries it, which is evident by her reaction that she's going to, as she finds Earth fascinating. Curious about it, Alex shows the pill to Adam, who says that it's given to keep people from going crazy in the isolation of space. Reluctantly he agrees to go her halves when a dog begins barking and Alex almost rushes off naked but needs to cover up now that they have a guest. She collects her dog Sally, but Benson finds her snooping around his equipment and orders her not to touch the cylinder. He says that the only canines that he's ever seen back on Earth are the ones for dinner and makes the blatant request to use Alex's body tonight. She tells him that she's exclusive with Adam, but Benson responds that on Earth it's illegal to refuse his request and is punishable under social laws. Alex points out that he's on Saturn now and ignores his advances, but the technocrat doesn't let it go and watches her through creepy little bedside cameras. When they're together again, he continues his advances and is basically begging Alex to use her body at this point by calling Adam obsolete and old. Alex stays firm in her commitment to that old man, who overhears them speaking from the communications room and takes the obsolete comments to heart. The next day, Benson reveals a new high-tech robot from the Demigod series that needs to be assembled and will speed up operations. He pulls out a giant brain from the cylinder, which he reckons when finished cooking will be so effective that one of the two scientists will no longer be needed. Adam thinks they're planning to replace him and jokes about jettisoning Benson into space so he can remain with Alex, but I'm not too sure if he's joking. Over the next few days, Benson gets to assembling the robot while the couple waste time by dividing the blue dreamer between them. As it begins to take effect, Adam tells Alex that he wants her to go to Earth without him, as he knows she'll eventually end up there one day. She playfully decides to remain with him on Saturn III, and we never actually see the effects of the dreamers except for in a deleted scene. They fall asleep on the sofa but imagine themselves having a good time and partying around the apartment. Alex runs off to put on an outfit that she says is apparently old-fashioned for the current time they live in, but Adam thinks that it's pretty okay. They don't say much, which is probably why it was cut, but this outfit was also used for all the promotional material, so people were hoodwinked when they didn't show it. Meanwhile, Benson finishes constructing the 8-foot-tall robot named Hector and waltzes straight into the couple's room because remember, this guy's a creep. He shows off the machine's ability to crush a thermos, but it was only meant to hand it to Adam, so he clearly has a few more adjustments to be made. Using a data port implanted in the back of his neck, Benson makes a wireless connection, giving him the ability to easily train the robot. When Adam sees this, he jokes that Hector will have no sense of humor if it learns everything from Benson and challenges the machine to a game of chess. As smart as it has become, the machine still hasn't learned about the values of sacrifice and loses the game, which sees it break a piece out of anger. The way he's training has Adam worried that any improper thoughts that Benson has will be encoded into Hector's brain, and he seems to have lots of them. As they're working on the hydro farm, Adam catches Benson hooked up to the machine and staring lustfully at Alex while Hector does the same thing. She gets a microscopic chip in her eyeball, which is the first time that we see the robot's usefulness, as it's able to retrieve it easily. Hector not only receives Benson's attraction towards Alex but also his propensity towards murder, so the handler tells the machine to strike that from his programming. Unable to get the robot to listen any further, Benson asks if Hector's malfunctioning, but the artificial intelligence gives him the "I know you are, but what am I?" Shortly after saying this, the machine murders poor Sally and Alex comes across her ripped apart while Hector watches her from the bushes. It can be silent when Story calls for it and grabs Alex to lift her off the ground by her wrists, but her screams alert the boys to come running. Alex is able to persuade Hector to release her as the robot shares Benson's attraction to the pretty lady, but out of jealousy it attacks its own creator. It pins him to a table with a piece of machinery, and when Adam arrives he intends to take Alex and leave Benson for the robot to finish off. He has a change of heart and uses a device to knock back the robot and rescue Benson, then everyone escapes the room, locking Hector inside. From the communication room they've nothing to do but sit and wait until Hector rips his way inside, but he suddenly needs to recharge. When the robot plugs its slow-moving behind into a terminal, Adam overloads it, causing Hector to explode before collapsing to the ground. They all rush over and Adam holds it down while Benson pulls the brain from the machine's head, finally shutting down the killer droid. Adam then tells the guest that he wants him and his toy to get off his planet, but Benson throws shade back at the old man and his brainwashing of Alex. While waiting for an eclipse to end as a convenient excuse for not being able to contact the space station, the still functioning brain of Hector controls the other machinery around him to reassemble his dismantled body. The next morning Benson enters Adam's room telling him that he's relieving the old man of command and is taking Alex with him back to Earth. The local man really hates being called inadequate as a butt-naked Adam nearly strangles Benson to death, but Allie pulls his wrinkly behind off him. She should just let him finish him off as Benson hits Adam over the head with a lamp and kidnaps himself a scantily dressed woman. Suddenly the reassembled Hector steps out to protect her and severs off his creator's hand before dragging Benson's unconscious body off down the hall. A very confused pair of scientists decide that their best course of action is to take Benson's ship and abandon Saturn III, but Hector blocks their way. It just wanders around at a crawl's pace, but somehow these two just keep managing to get caught up to even going so far as to putting themselves under it. Using some smoke to ineffectively blind the machine, they effectively split themselves up and get further lost in their own home. Locating each other again, Hector appears from thin air and proves his outer shell to be immune to light plastic containers being thrown at him. After some more running around, the pair decide to set a trap by removing the support grates from the floor above the hydroponic pond. Using Hector's lust to draw him to Alex, the robot foils their plan as he wants him that blonde, but Adam uses another machine to knock Hector through the floor panels where he flails around unable to swim. A surviving Alex and Adam don their spacesuits and head out toward Benson's ship to escape the planet. However, Hector climbs his wax-covered self out of the pond and remotely detonates it. The two's only escape is completely destroyed, yet they know that Hector doesn't want to kill them or he would have blown it up with them inside. They hear Benson over the intercom direct them toward the lab, but it's just Hector duplicating his voice as the cheeky droid wears Benny's head like a hat. We jump to Adam waking up in his quarters sometime later, having been knocked out and fitted with a communications port on the back of his neck. Hector's been probing his mind to learn everything about the couple and uses Adam's voice to call off the recon team sent to check up on Saturn III. When they ask about Alex, she's shown to also be alive but isn't allowed to speak as Hector does it for her instead. The robot announces that he's running things around here now and orders the couple to come to the lab to clean everything up and return to work. Adam sends Alex alone while he collects some explosives and hides them under his jacket before meeting back up with her shortly. Without his cute little Benson hat on anymore, Hector cycles through various voices until settling on a collection of many. He rants about how much he hates the name given to him and is about to reprogram the entering Adam's brain, who pushes Alex away as he's been telling the much younger person all movie that she'll have to live without him eventually. With her at a safe distance, he tackles Hector into the pond and detonates the explosives, sacrificing himself like he talked about in their chess match. Saturn III is showered with robot debris and probably bone fragments as we jump to sometime later with the only survivor, Alex, on board a spaceship. She turns down concoctions of recreational pills as she saw what it does to people's minds and looks out a window at the encroaching Earth. A smaller shuttle detaches with her on board and Alex gets to finally satisfy her curiosity of the planet. And the movie ends.